All right. It's Friday here at Locked On Canucks in the middle of August. So that means it's time to debate some very random but very pressing topics, okay? Pettersson versus Hughes. Who would you rather? How long's Tocchet going to last? And what else? Find out next here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer and credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Go visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. And before we dive into the show, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. It's your team every day, baby. Make sure you go subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, right now, okay, Kyle and I, we've hit the quota, okay? 3 days a week here in the summer. But guess what? We've been here 5 days this week because we love talking to you, the listener. I also enjoy talking to Kyle. And I'm excited to see where the conversation goes today because I just got a lot of random things written down here that we're going to debate and talk about. Kyle Bhawan, first and foremost, how you doing, brother?
No, I like doing this, A, living the dream, and B, just talking whatever Canucks. I've said it before and I'll say it again. By far and away, way more addicted to the Canucks than I am the Green Bay Packers. And that wasn't the case for years and years and years and years. It's really something else when you do things for your friends. And Trevor Beggs, you are the reason why all of this is happening. Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Your Canucks every day. Kyle Bhawan, Trevor Beggs. Shout out to everyone that's joined us over the last week. But shout out to the OGs as well, okay? For real. Hayden. I'm gonna say IQ, even though he's not the biggest fan of the show anymore. Hey, Harpoon, man.
What happened to IQ?
Hey, we're not gonna
Anyways,
touch on it,
doesn't
okay?
matter. Doesn't matter.
We're not gonna touch on it, okay? Harpoon, though, we're gonna touch on Harpoon at the end of the show because that guy is just that guy needs to eat a sandwich and drink some water. Anywho, Locked On Canucks again, your team every day. Let's talk about it. Pettersson versus Hughes, alternate universe. You got to pick a team. If your team loses, your family is getting shipped to the South Pole. They're not going to be they're not going to be exterminated. Nobody's going to kill your family. I'm just saying they're going to be shipped to the North Pole. If your team loses, who you picking, Pettersson or Hughes?
All right, I guess I'll start off. And this is a tough one. Again, when we're thinking one player on your roster, who would you rather keep? Don't worry about the cap or dollars. Don't worry about any of that. Just with Pettersson and Hughes, which guy would you rather have on your roster? I think the trendy answer would be to go with Hughes, but I'm going to go with Elias Pettersson because I just look at this Canucks team and I think he is really the straw that stirs the drink, to use a cheesy metaphor here. But Elias Pettersson, again, coming off of a 100+ point season, looking like an absolute animal out there. And when I look at what Pettersson brings to it compared to what Hughes brings, you can look at kind of the models and whatnot, which say like statistically Pettersson provides more value to the Canucks. But I do think the eye test kind of matches that as well. Like I picture the Canucks without Hughes, and I think they're obviously a worse team, but I think they're similar to what they are right now because the team isn't great at defending with or without Hughes. They still give up a lot of chances with or without Hughes. Again, that's not on Hughes. It's just a bad defense. But if you take Pettersson off the Canucks, I don't think the Canucks are scoring nearly as many goals.
Whoa.
Pettersson's just such a driver, even strength, such a driver on the power play. And again, I think he's just kind of hidden the peak of his powers as well. So, between those two players, I think they're two of the best players in the league right now, but I'm taking Elias Pettersson.
Wow. Good answer. Both great answers. And before I go on a ramble, let me ask the people, do you think we've seen the best from Quinn Hughes? Because I feel as if now we're getting closer and closer, hopefully putting it out there that Quinn Hughes plays on a good hockey team. Does that mean he turns into a way better player? Possibly. He's been making strides. A way better defensive player. This guy knows how to do just that, become a better hockey player, even though he's already 94 overall. Does that mean he's going to take it to the next level offensively? Maybe. So again, is there another level to Quinn Hughes? Because I think so. And because I think so, I'm taking Quinn Hughes. And I was driving to the studio today, and I realized that this is what we'd have to talk about. And again, we do this on the daily. This is where my mind went. I really thought about the fact that the Canucks, although they've never really had a player like Pettersson as well, they just never had that defenseman. And I want to hold on to this for a very long time. I want to see this through. And I know we're not really relating the question to, the Canucks overall. We're talking about a do or die game. Your family's on the line. But the appeal for Quinn Hughes and him still feeling new and refreshing because of where he plays, it helped his case. Okay, it helped his case. It really did. And we're talking about one game. I think they're pretty close. Like if Elias Pettersson is 95 overall on a really good day, Quinn Hughes is 95 overall as well. These two are just that important and that lethal. They're really up there. You said it earlier, right? The both these players are some of the best players in the league. We're blessed. We're blessed. But I'm taking Quinn Hughes. You're taking Pettersson. Comment below on that as well. Who you taking?
Yeah, 100%. And, you look at Quinn Hughes, he was tied for second among defensemen last season with 76 points in 78 games. I think this guy's cresting the 80-point mark probably. I shouldn't say probably. I think he's going to crest it maybe as soon as next season.
How
So
about
Quinn
90
Hughes,
though? How about 90 though? The NHL is
I
changing.
think I think it's
There-
possible. I think Quinn Hughes could put up similar numbers to what Cale Makar has been putting up. Cale
Whoa.
Makar this season missed 22 games, but he has 66 points in 60 games. I could see Hughes hitting 90 points in 82 games, which would be incredible, right? I know it's more common now than it was 10, 20 years ago for defensemen to hit that mark, but even still, it's a special thing for a defenseman to have that many points. But yeah, Hughes obviously one of the best offensive defensemen. I would say even one of the best all-around defensemen in the NHL. And
Whoa.
Pettersson was one of 11 guys to hit 100 points last season. So both two of the best players in the NHL. Kyle, maybe let's do one more Pettersson Hughes debate before we get to break here. Between Pettersson and Hughes, who should be the next captain of the Vancouver Canucks?
I'm gonna say Quinn Hughes. And we can go into again this conversation, the debate, the skill, the talent that both these players have, and all that jazz. But I'm just gonna go straight to the point. I'm not trying to be surprised here. I think I'm already seeing the Canucks, and I'm already seeing the team photo, and Quinn Hughes already has that C on him for real. We've seen what the coach has said, blah blah blah. But we also saw him show up to the season end pressure in a suit. The press conference at the end of the season, he's the only one really in a suit. And I feel as if the suit wasn't even really tailored. You know what I'm saying? Like I think at the end of the season, him and Tocchet after game 82 had a little like 10-minute meeting in the coach's room, and Tocchet just shook his head in a certain way, and that told Quinn he was like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna be the captain next season. I better show up tomorrow for this press conference or whatever the right way." And anyways, because he wore the suit, he's telling us he's the captain. Am I looking too deep into this? I don't think so.
No, I think aside from the suit at the end of season media availability, I think just Tocchet's comments about Hughes and Pettersson and their leadership. I mean, we talked about it before. Every Dayers know he was kind of showering Quinn Hughes the praise in terms of how much he's grown as a leader. And he said Pettersson, he's kind of a quiet guy, but he talks a little bit more. Like his praise for Pettersson was much more muted. So I think Hughes will be the next captain of the Vancouver Canucks. But I'm saying it should be Elias Pettersson. Okay?
No.
We're talking about
this. Okay, come
okay.
on. I have to cut you off too because you got to think about this too, man. Like, yeah, Quinn Hughes is the most vocal to the room, maybe to talk it as well, but even to the media. The fact that he threw shade at the Canucks for doing Tanner Pearson wrong, it really shows that he's willing to really do that for his brothers. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
I've seen the comments. Pettersson, being ridiculed for being a little media shy now, and I'm not really blaming him because remember, this guy wore designer shirts, and there's a lot of people in town that wanted him out for taking photos. You get what I'm saying? That really happened. So I don't blame Pettersson changing his ways because before he was, banned from being himself from the market. There was that phase, especially in his rookie year, where he was the most entertaining guy, most real guy giving interviews. Do you remember? He spoke his mind. He had a little bit of attitude. He was showing answers with his face. Anywho, Bagsy, I'll let you take it, but I had to get that off my chest.
Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't say Quinn Hughes is a bad choice, but I just look at Elias Pettersson. I think he is the hardest working player on this Canucks team. I think on the ice, he is the de facto leader. I mean, he's not barking as much as Miller is out there, obviously, but I see Pettersson as the leader of this team. And obviously, Vancouver's got a long history of, Swedish stars leading this team. I think Pettersson can look to a guy like Henriksen, look to a guy like Daniel Sedin, maybe even look to a guy like Marcus Naslund in terms of how they were able to handle it in the pressure cooker that is Vancouver. I think Pettersson and Hughes both have ice in their veins, but I do think Pettersson, I just see him as the leader of the team moving forward. And I think I think Quinn Hughes, again, talk about ice in their veins. I look at the captaincy as maybe it's motivation. Not that these guys need motivation, but I do think it would really light a fire under Petey and mean a lot to him to be named captain of the Vancouver Canucks, especially considering the Swedish lineage in this organization.
Oh, of course, man. Of course, that matters. That's some real stuff, man.
It matters, but I'm going to be wrong at the end of the day because it's going to be Quinn Hughes who's named captain of the Vancouver Canucks. Let us know in the comments, who would you rather have between Pettersson and Hughes, and who do you think should be named Canucks captain between Pettersson and Hughes? On the other side, the debates, we're going to fall down a bit further down the rabbit hole. Maybe talk a little about Rick Tocchet. I might even bring up Mikael Samuelson. Who knows where this is going to go? But first, I got to shout out FanDuel, okay? Football season is about to kick off, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win all season long. Because right now, when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you can get bonus bets every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you'll get bonus bets for every victory. Quick, Kyle, who is winning the Super Bowl in 2023-24?
Dude, I'm so loyal, man. The Green Bay Packers. Don't be
get out of here, man. They're not even winning more than 6 games, man.
Dude,
unbelievable.
Come on, man. Show me the love.
I'm gonna cut you off right there, okay? So you can pick any team to win the Super Bowl and get bonus bets for every victory. If you want to get more bonus bets, you'd be better off not picking the Green Bay Packers. But hey, no matter who you pick and you get those bonus bets, you can use them on spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon.
By the way, before we get back to the show, I got to remind you again that every episode of Locked On Canucks will be available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcatcher at 4:20 p.m. for no reason at all. Again, every episode of Locked On Canucks at 4:20 p.m. for no reason at all. Let's get back to the show. Okay. We back on Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Man, shout out to the West Coast. Shout out to Surrey. We always show love to Surrey. But we're sending love, man, to the interior, man, for real. Love and peace. And in times like this, when I'm on this side, being blessed, not just feeling blessed, but actually being blessed too, I can only hope for the best case scenarios. I know it's tough to see, but I'm just putting that out there. And one love to the interior. Again, on Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Your Canucks every day. And Begsy alluded to this earlier, man. We went overtime this week when they want us to rest our voices in August. But addiction, man, it's a hell of a thing. And I just want to let you know on that note, before you talk about Mikael Samuelson, that I quit smoking cigarettes, man. After 3 days of trying to change the voice, I realized I don't got to change for anyone, okay? For anyone. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bhawan, Locked On Canucks. I just quit smoking. No more Belmonts in this thing called my life. No more hacking darts and breaking hearts. Beggsy, let's talk about it, man. More random Canuck debates, banter, scenarios.
All right. First and foremost, congratulations, Kyle. I'm glad you quit smoking. I know I went to your house earlier this week, flushed that cigarette down the toilet. I even flushed the rest of the pack, man. It's like $20 down the toilet. And a shout out to our one commenter who told you not to smoke Belmonts, not because smoking's bad, but because Belmonts are too expensive. Okay. So shout out to that commenter. Commenters always showing us love, and sometimes not. We appreciate it either way because love us or hate us. It's go Canucks go. I'm going to do one more current or future looking debate before kind of diving into the past a bit. Rick Tocchet, okay? Rick Tocchet has now been coach of the Vancouver Canucks for about half a season now, maybe about 6-7 months. How long will Rick Tocchet be coach of the Vancouver Canucks? Tell me the last day he's going to coach for this hockey team.
First of all, toxic bags, man. Honestly speaking, bro. Toxic bags, man. Let us know in the comments below if that's one of the greatest nicknames for the darkest dude, not only in the program, but the darkest dude in the West Coast media market. For real. I can't believe you. I'm not even going to answer this question realistically because I know the saying, right? It eventually ends for everyone, especially in the GM spot and really especially in the head coach spots in professional sports. But I'm gonna say never, okay? I'm gonna say never because I
Wow.
want the best. I want the best. I want the best for
Wow.
this guy. And one thing that I've been hearing a bit more, seeing it sometimes on Twitter, but I think even Rink Wide, the podcast had like a bold prediction show, and I think Jeff Patterson said, oh, one of his bold predictions again, just being bold, just having fun, was saying that Tocchet with this system, with some motivation, with some new players, can win the Jack Adams. So take that. And I don't think that's really that much of a stretch just based on the optimism of this program and the Canucks needing to take the next step. I think them doing so, because again, they need to, is just going to look really good. And Tocchet's been around the league for a long time. He would look good with the Jack Adams trophy. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, you answer this question, man. How long is he going to last? When's he getting fired? When's
I
he getting
was going to
fired,
take the.
Bagsy?
You're calling me the darkest guy of the program. I was going to take the optimistic route as well. Okay, I'll start by saying this: Canucks Nation has been through enough pain and suffering over the past 10 years. Something's got to go our way. Okay, we got Hughes, we got Pettersson, we got Demko, new management in place, the new coach in place. I'm not predicting a short shelf life for Tocchet. I think the Canucks under Tocchet are going to go on a run. It might be 3 years from now. It might even be 4 years from now. But the Canucks are going to make a run to the Stanley Cup under Rick Tocchet with
Whoa.
Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes
Whoa.
leading the charge. So I'm going to say, in 2026, 27, the Canucks are winning the
Winning
Stanley
it.
Cup.
Yeah, thank you.
There
Thank
we
you.
go. Come on.
Okay,
But,
Bagsy.
obviously everything good comes to an end. So I'm going to say in November of 2029, Canucks get off to a slow start. They weren't so good the season before, but in that 2029-2030 season, Tocchet's going to lose his job just before the end of the decade here.
Or, it's 2032 and Tocchett's still the head coach, 2 Stanley Cup rings. He gets to do whatever he wants. He gets to leave when he wants, right? He's never really getting fired, even if there's a slow start. But he's like, you know what? I want to open up a bakery
Hey,
and
dang, could
sell
happen.
muffins. Have you ever heard of a
Oh,
mango pie? I ran a poll after Pius, who used to be Pius on the program, got signed by the Canucks, and I was like, yeah, what's everyone's favorite pie? I said apple pie, cherry pie. I think I threw in mango pie just to do it, and mango got no votes.
yeah, I've never heard of a mango pie, so that's probably maybe you could be the first. Maybe it'll be mango pie guy,
Yo,
mango pie
Begsy,
Bhawan.
Begsy, you said a lot of things there. You got me motivated. You got me inspired because you used the word Stanley Cup. You connected it with the Vancouver Canucks. I think you loosely connected it with Rick Tocchet, but you brought up Pettersson and Hughes again, and both of us just said some glowing things about them. I used the terms 95 overall for both of them. I also said they can get better. Dude, with that combination, that work ethic, you kind of hear it in their voices. You see it in the way that Pettersson plays. And Quinn Hughes, he doesn't quote unquote look like he's playing as hard as Pettersson, but that dude's too smart. What's that saying? Begsy, they probably use it a lot in the financial world. Like something about like not working as hard, just being smart.
Work
Like
smart, not hard. I don't know if
Quinn
they use
Hughes,
that in the
baby.
financial world, but
Quinn Hughes, baby. Quinn Hughes. Again, with both those guys, you still have like the Stanley Cup dreams, and I don't think it's delusion. This is not like Clayton Keller and Jacob Chikrin, It's not. It's not even close to that. It's it's literally 2 of the best players in hockey playing
yeah.
2 of the most important positions.
And we got to believe a little bit, man, because it hasn't worked out for the last good stretch of time. So got to believe it's going to work out one of these days. Let's end on one more random
Hey,
debate.
Begsy. It's not Connor McDavid and Darnell Nurse, okay? Anyways, continue.
True point. Let's end on one more random debate, and feel free to hit us up in the comments with other random debates that you either want to hear Kyle and I get into, or you want to debate with us at some point. Maybe we even have a commenter on the show. I think that's an idea we've been tossing around as well. But one of the random things I wrote down on my big list of random debates was, okay, it's a one game situation. Canucks are down by 1 goal in the playoffs. Who are you putting on the ice as one of your 6 skaters?
Ooh.
Brock Besser or Mikael Samuelson?
Wow, dude. Now, you know what? I thought you were gonna throw in like something else. Brock Besser or Connor Garland. Some stuff like that. I Samuelson for a while was a really, really, really good hockey player. Not one of those sexy hockey players, but if you were blessed enough to be a Red Wings fan or a Canucks fan, and you chose to watch, 82 regular season games involving that guy whenever he was healthy enough to do so, you realize that he was not just really good, but really, really smart. And I think Brock is as smart too. I think there's another gear in him, but if there isn't, this is definitely a good comparison. Now to answer your question, I'm probably gonna say Michael Samuelson because he scored a couple big goals, maybe just one against LA in game one, way back when, right? What year was that? 2010?
Yeah, he was a beast in the 2010 playoffs. He had 8 goals and 15 points in 12 games.
Yeah, that's like until Brock Besser does it, like we got to remember those things, Got to remember those things, man, cuz what really hurt him was like injuries and
Yeah.
injuries cuz he was doing it.
Yeah. 100%.
That's how good 2011, like that's how good that roster was. That we were all delusional, all very hopeful. We all understood that we needed the most out of everyone. We needed luck to go our way, but Samuelson barely played. I just remembered. I think you told me the other day that he was still on the roster. He was hurt in 2011, if I'm correct, and we didn't care. We didn't
Yeah,
care.
it didn't matter because the Canucks were such a deep, complete team, right? But yeah, Samuelson only played 11 games during that 2011 run because he was injured. The reason I thought this was a fascinating debate too is, both guys, Brock Besser obviously has more height. Mikael Samuelsson probably a bit underrated. Obviously, Besser's had a longer Canucks career, but Mikael Samuelsson, he has a 30-goal season with the Canucks under his belt. Brock Besser does not, although 29 goals in 62 games in his rookie season was pretty fantastic. No, I gotta go with our boy Brock Besser. Okay, as much as Mikael Samuelsson came through in the playoffs that 1 year, he had maybe one-ish good years in Vancouver overall. Whereas Besser, I think, probably created too much hype based on his rookie season and gets discredited for being a pretty good hockey player. So I'm going to go with Brock Besser over Mikael Samuelsson in a do or die. I need one player on the ice to score a goal. Let's go, baby. Brock Besser.
So Samuelson didn't have what was the deal he signed? 3 years or something? I don't even know, but how many good seasons did he have with the Canucks? And sorry, people, we know we're talking a lot here before we get to Common Corner, but we're going down this rabbit hole, and this is what happens.
Mikael Samuelsson had 2 seasons with the Canucks, right? 2009, 2010, he had 30 goals, 53 points in 74 games. 2010, 2011 had 18 goals and 50 points in 75 games. So hit the 50-point plateau on both occasions. Was really rock solid, as I mentioned, in the 2010 playoffs, but was battling injuries going into the 2011 playoffs. And I barely remember him playing, but obviously he was not in the lineup for, more than half the Canucks games in that run.
Man, oh man, we're really going down this Canuck banter. And Begsy, I think it's appropriate that we practice these things because, down the road, maybe the near future, who knows what the world brings, right? We just got to focus on the present, but we're going to be talking for a while in front of people, right? Hosting some, I don't even want to call it live shows, just the Canucks, man. We're all you know what I'm saying? Just chilling with the people, drinking some brewskis and talking Canucks. Who knows what you actually call that, but we're going to need some banter for that. And this was good practice, man, for real. This was good practice, man. Locked On Canucks, Kyle Bhawan, Trevor Beggs. Did you want to say something before we got to Common Corner?
No, let's get to Common Corner, buddy. We're tight on time, man. We're getting to a half an hour. What are the Ups going to do?
Oh, no. It's over for us. Okay, we'll see you on the other side on Locked On Canucks. Okay. We are all back on Locked On Canucks. We are all Canucks. I mean, we are all Locked On Canucks. I mean, we are all Canucks. Kyle Bhawan, Trevor Beggs on the program. Subscribe. Give us a like, and let us know how we did on the podcast side, man. We got to connect to those people. Even if you don't want to leave us a review, leave us comments in the review section, and maybe you could join us over here on Comment Corner, our favorite segment of the show, and we'll start that in 30 seconds. But before I do so, gotta do it. Gotta ask Beggsy, how you doing? Okay, for real, how you doing? Fans first, we know that, but it's also a friends first show as well. Gotta ask the big question to your homies again. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I mean, I'm missing my kids now. 2+ weeks living the bachelor life. I got 1 week left until I get reunited with my family. So that's what
Beautiful.
I'm looking forward to first and foremost. But yeah, just trying to figure out how to live up for my last weekend as a bachelor, I guess. So I'm feeling old in the sense that like not really many people want to go and like party anymore. But I'm looking forward to the chill time. The backyard get-togethers, the barbecues, the burgers, all that good stuff. And some time
Man,
with
oh
you,
man.
buddy.
Man, oh man. Trevor's just been on such a rock star run. He's such a hardworking man that, it feels like everything is the same. But if I was able to release the details about Trevor's life factually on the program, I'm like, holy dude, you're just like you're definitely a mushroom, man. You're a fun guy. You're a fun guy. Unbelievable, man. You really fun. Anyways, let's get to Comment Corner on Locked On Canucks.
Welcome to Comment Corner, powered by Paraphrasing.
This comment comes from our friend Harpoon.
If the Canucks can get 4 potentially late first-round picks for PT, courtesy of a gigantic offer sheet, they'd be idiots not to take it. Remember Pasternak got drafted in the mid-20s.
Okay, so Harpoon, he's that dude. He is all over the place. But he's a big Canucks fan. And remember, we are all Canucks. We're all Canucks. So I'm listening. I'm listening to a lot of what Harpoon is typing there, and he's entertaining. And I do think he has a point, but I also think he's way, 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 way wrong because Pettersson, and this is a strong thing to say, but I think we're about to see the best from him, is a generational talent. Yeah.
That's bold. That's man. We talked about the Canucks winning the cup today, so we were riding a high. I don't want to poo poo on that, but I think there's been maybe 10 generational players in NHL history. And as much as I love Pettersson, I'm not going to call him a generational player.
West Coast bias,
You're not going to trap me in that, buddy. You're not going to trap me in that. Yeah, West Coast bias. I mean, Vancouver native Connor Bedard is going to be a generational player. That I'm almost certain of.
Okay, my definition of a generational player, that's one definition, but I think he's super good. I think he's going to take the next level. I think he's going to get to 115, 120 points, and then he's going to be that guy that brings the Stanley Cup to Vancouver. And dude, you're known for 500 years, 1,000 years. They're not talking about Marcus Naslund after the Canucks have like 5 or 6 cups. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They're not. In 500 years, they're not talking about Marcus Naslund anymore. Like, he's just going to be generational. Dude, they'll talk about the Sedins less. The Sedins will be like lucky they were twins. That's going to be the story. For real. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I think Pettersson can be one of the best players of this generation, but I'm not going to go and call him generational. And as for the comment, I know Harpoon was saying that, David Pastrnak was a late first-round pick. So, like, why wouldn't you just take 4 first-round picks for Pettersson? There's also a lot of other late first-round picks who aren't very good. So here, I just pulled up 2015, which is considered like one of the best drafts in NHL history. I mean, hell, you could have been the Bruins. You could have taken Jakub Zaboral, Jake DeBrusk, and Zachary Senyshyn. Is that worth it for Elias Pettersson? I don't think so. How about later in that draft? Okay, after Brock Besser, the players drafted Travis Konecny, good player. Jack Roslovic, good player. Noah Juleson, Jakob Larson, Anthony Beauvillier, Gabriel Carlson, and Nick Merkley. Those are more the type of players you find late in the first round of a draft. So to say that Pettersson's worth 4 first-round picks because it's going to go, even if it's a contending team, because you get 4 late first-round picks, it's BS. It's a huge gamble. It's not worth the risk. And if Pettersson got signed to a $12.5 million offer sheet by the San Jose Sharks, the Canucks should have matched it immediately.
BS. You know what BS stands for banter and satire. I just learned that. What? No,
No,
what?
you taught me something. That's not what I thought it stood
No, I
for.
just
That's
made that
okay.
up right now. Okay, so I said generational because I'm feeling myself. West Coast bias, dude. When you're talking about the Canucks winning the Stanley Cup, that's like me taking the biggest whatever sativa. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking it all. You got me juiced up. If I had to take it back just a little bit, by the time Pettersson retires and we're in the year 2146, when they're making those lists of the top 100 players of all time, Pettersson's going to be on that list. And there's only truth to that if, what you said earlier comes true, and that's them winning the Stanley Cup. Yo, we ending the show on that note, okay? Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. Subscribe, hit the like button. Shout out to everyone who joined us this week. Shout out to all the OGs as well. Remember, the OGs are getting invited to the wedding somehow, some way. Hey, Brown weddings are big. Brown weddings are big. 500, 600 people, of course, is a chance. Why not? You only live once. Leave us a review wherever you stream the podcast as well. And if you hated the show, but you're a Canuck fan, we're sending you just as much love as we just sent the OGs, okay? Bagsy, sign us out.
Yep, yeah. Like Kyle said, whether you're an everyday or your occasional listener, if this is your first time listening, we love you, okay? Hope you stick around and be part of the Locked On Canucks family moving forward, because this is mid-August, hey? We're not even in training camp form yet, okay? Let's go! Now, coming up next week, again, a couple weeks to training camp. One of the ideas I had for next week was ranking all the Canucks drafts in the 2010s. Also have a Locked On crossover episode that I did with Calgary Flames host Jess Belmonsto that we're going to post on our feed as well. But that's coming up next week. For now, I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bhawan, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.